Hey, this is Mad Movie Mark of the Mad Movie Mark Movie Review. Thank you for joining me as I review the 1928 French silent film, The Passion of Joan of Arc. Hey, whoa, hold on a second. There's no reason to get all angry and mad and in my face here. This is going to be a pretty good review. If this is your first time joining me, I'm reviewing every movie in this large book, The 1001 Movies You Must See Before You Die. The Passion of Joan of Arc is directed by Carl Dreyer, who I also believed did Ordette, which I reviewed about a year ago maybe, and it stars Renee Jean Falconetti, who plays Joan of Arc. Now, Falconetti's portrayal of Joan of Arc is considered to be one of the greatest acting performances in cinematic history, and I 100% agree. She is emotional, she is passionate, she's intense, she's fiery. You can see the pain and the conviction just dripping off her face in this movie, and it's the only thing that's dripping off her face because the actors famously wore no makeup in this movie, which is absolutely absurd considering it's a silent film. Literally every silent film I think I've seen, the characters are all caked with makeup to where it almost looks like they're clownish. But I've seen it so often that it's not even something that I think twice about, because it's just, that's how silent films are. But this is so groundbreaking and so different. Even the cinematography in this film, it looks like it was shot in the 60s or 70s. This looks like Stalker to me. It's crazy how amazing this film is held up, how amazing the film quality is, and just how phenomenal the cinematography is. You would not be able to convince me this movie is from 1928 if I didn't know, and if you didn't tell me and I was sitting there watching it. Just absurd. Besides that, this movie is known for its natural lighting and its close-ups and its uncommon angles. So there are times when Falcone is in the corner of the screen, she's on the edge of the screen, her face is just like everywhere, and it's supposed to symbolize her being confined in this very small space with all these people around her kind of jumping on her and ganging up on her, and she has nowhere to go, and it really does feel claustrophobic. The way they shot this with their close-ups, and there's no real scenery, there's no set pieces really in this movie until kind of the end. It's just close-up of people's faces. You really do feel like she's confined and that it's claustrophobic, and it's just so well done. Now, I did read somewhere that Falcone's performance, part of it is attributed to it's a rumor that Dreyer treated her very poorly on set and made her sit on like concrete slabs for hours so that she would feel all this pain and she would be emotional, and it would just be a very tough experience for her. And then when she got on film, it was much easier for her to cry and to show all this emotion and to because she was treated poorly. I don't know if that's real or not. The source I read said it was never confirmed, but that's just what I saw. And if that is true, that's terrible, but he got a great performance out of it. This is also Falconetti's only big acting role. So, I mean, if you're going to have an acting role, have it be one of the greatest acting performances of all time, I guess. So this movie takes place, it's just her trial and her execution. It's nothing about her battles and her fighting the 100 Years' War and, you know, all the accolades that she won. And it's crazy to think that she came from nothing, and by the time she was 19 years old, she became this hero and this saint and this like godly character, and like, what have I done with my life? Basically, that's what I feel like. I mean, she was so young to have accomplished everything that she did. It's absolutely incredible. So she was tried, so her battles against the English during the 100-Year War, she led the French. She was tried for heresy. They tried to discredit her, and they tried to make her say that she was not on a mission from God, because the whole movie she's basically saying that she was on a mission from God and that she's talked to God and that God promised her like everlasting life if she led the French against the English. And they're basically trying to discredit her and tell her that never happened and that she's just seeing these visions that aren't actually there. I also think I read that it's possible that in real life Joan of Arc had like schizophrenia or something, and that's why she saw these visions. But they're basically trying to tell her that she's crazy, none of this happened, and that she is going to be basically executed for her crimes that she did against England. And it's very much all of these people, all these men against her together. Now, there are a few people in this movie who think that she is a saint and believe that she did actually talk to God and she has seen God and she is on this mission, but most of them are definitely against her and trying to convince her that she's basically just crazy. This reminds me a lot of a recent movie I saw called The Trial of, I think it's Vivian Ansalam, where it is also a group of men, a lot of men in this room, who are going against her and telling her that she's wrong because she's a woman and that she's crazy. Sort of similar, but not really. It just reminded me of that. But she's tortured in this movie, and she's told that she doesn't have to be executed, that she can just get life in prison if she signs a confession and kind of recants what she said. So at some point she does this. Her hand is kind of forced to sign this confession, but then she realizes that she was unfaithful to God and that this isn't actually true and that what she signed was not what actually happened. So she recants it and she says, look, take me back to the guys in the court because I want to tell them that I was wrong. I shouldn't have signed it. And they tell her, you know that if you do this, you're going to be executed, you're going to be burned at the stake. And her basically says, like, God, if I need to be burned at the stake, please just don't let it be too long and painful, essentially is what she says. The writing in this movie, I know they pretty much went verbatim based on the actual record of the trial of Joan of Arc, but the writing and the cards that you read in this movie are incredible. Also, the pace of the music, too. So the cuts in this film are so fast. Like each sequence, each thing that you're seeing on screen, it's only a couple seconds and it cuts to something else and cuts to something else, and the music is so intense and it just keeps building and building and building, and the cuts are going faster and faster to where like your heart is just beating 1,000 miles a minute, and it builds to the intensity and it builds to the urgency of this movie and what's happening. This movie could have been so boring. I could see this movie being so boring if anyone else directed it, if anyone else did the cinematography. It's like a whole group of people who knew what they were doing, thankfully, did this movie, because everything about it is just so perfect. The music building, the cuts going quickly, the acting on Falconetti's performance. It's all face acting, essentially, where it's, like I said, it's all close up of people's faces, but they all do such an incredible job. She's like got a million different faces in this movie, where she's just crying, she's distraught, she's sad. There's other scenes where her like eyes are bugged out because she's like worried, or she's talking to God, or it's just remarkable what she's able to do, and she puts other silent film actresses to shame. It is so amazing. I actually did a short not too long ago, maybe a few years ago, where I said my top 10 actresses of all time, acting performances of all time, and she was in there. I think she was somewhere in the middle, and I still say that's true. Sometimes when I go back and rewatch stuff, I'm like, oh man, what was I thinking when I said that? But it's still true. One of the greatest acting performances of all time. And I guarantee you that most people have never seen this movie and have never seen the tour de force that she gives, because it's silent and people are scared to watch silent movies. But I guarantee you this movie looks like it's 50 or 60 years in the future, and it is remarkable, and it is definitely something that you should watch. It's almost like this performance, the close-ups, everything is almost life-changing. This movie almost feels like you could go out and like do something and be something and accomplish something and hopefully not get executed for it. So I absolutely love this movie. I love her performance, and this is a 10 out of 10. I hope you join me next time when I review another movie that I did not write down. So thank you. Have a great day.